Okay, hi and welcome. Thank you for joining me, Joe's Pilates, at home for this session while I'm away. Hopefully you'll find it helpful, and don't worry if you don't do it at all, you're just having a quick look. We'll be back next week, live, face-to-face as usual. So we're coming into our nice, beautiful aligned posture. We've talked about it lots and lots. Your crown above your coccyx. If we're looking at the side view, your ear, your shoulder, your trochanter, your knee, and that little knobbly bit there on your foot are all in beautiful alignment. You could freeze this and just test, draw a ruler up that line, see if I'm aligned. It's not as easy as it looks. And of course, from the front, the feet are forwards. We're stacking, almost stacking like the ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, all in line. And we avoid a little tilt or a little lift in the shoulder and nice even head there. We try and have the distance between your ears and your shoulders nice and even. So we've found and are observing that aligned gait. We avoid lifting up the ribs and the bum. We try and have ribs sinking to hips and shoulder blades there, nicely nestled in your back and just floating towards your back pockets. So now we've found aligned gait, we'll come right out of it, because as you know, we need to keep nice and mobile. Just try and let the body know what's aligned, so it can have that second nature of always trying to return to it with the exercises that we do, with the muscles coming back into that nice aligned fashion. But we do lots of mobilization out of alignment to keep our bodies in the function that they were designed to do, which is movement. So we're going to just tuck the tailbone under. You might notice a little squeeze in the bum. You can actually do it without the squeeze, and it's quite good practice to do both, just mobilizing the hips without so much of a general squeeze. But there's nothing wrong with having that squeeze there. And actually in a minute when we change it to a gluteal brace, you're going to want that squeeze. But I think it's just great to mindfully observe the body in what it wants to do in these postures. So we're just tilting the pelvis forwards with your bum sticking up and backwards as you tuck your bum under. And it's just good to observe this space here as well. Remember when we're lying down and when you stood up as well, actually your hips and your pubic bone are nice and level while we're aligned, and it comes out of that leveling as we do pelvic tilts. And you know, I always like you to have a nice soft back. We're not jarring that. And it kind of makes sense to breathe in on the lift of the ribs with your bum stuck out. Exhale as you scoop that coccyx under, lowering those ribs. So breath in and out. And we're ready to take it that little bit further now. Just breathing in and just watch your wall lights, your ceiling lights, and then exhale. Just relax back into neutral. You'll find hopefully it'll go nice and aligned. Tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your bum, lead with those little fingers to come out there. Breath in. So we're feeling fluid in your body. Exhale, squeeze, and just watch that the knees don't start knocking. Try and keep those nice and aligned as we come up with the arms, lower level. Exhale, squeeze those glutes. So rather than letting the knees fall in, let's keep them kind of over those ankles. For me, I have to try quite hard to keep that alignment there in the knees because they just want to fall in all the time. So as we say in class, try and keep the weight on the outer blades of your foot there. And we'll do one for good measure before we go into quad stretch. So you'll notice I've got all the usual equipment that we've been using this term. Chair with your bands, and remember you can use a regular band to tie around the chair there. You don't need to have one of those looped ones. You can loop it yourself. We're going to just take the weight over to the right here. Just look at that foot there, it's just popped away. So if you've got a mirror, you can utilise, have a look at those little anomalies in your body. So we put all of the weight of our body into that one little foot there. Try and tread your way so it's evenly distributed around the whole of the foot. Remember, we try and keep the hips stacked, well, level, and your shoulders stacked above those as well. Your knee points directly down, and you squeeze your heel towards your glutes, and that's going to possibly make you want to do this. Notice the knees move, the chest has popped up, so let's just address that. It's great to address it by just rolling the coccyx under there. Stay here for about 30 seconds. You can add on a little tricep stretch there. See, the elbow is high, the knee is low. And we'll just breathe here. The sun's gone in, so now it's gone a bit dark. Breath in and exhale. We're going to release that foot and just pop the fingertips on that elbow there. Find your lovely gait. So I'm not lifting the ribs, that's sinking down there. And then we're going to go over to the other side. Breath in, exhale, lift that pelvic floor as if it's lifting up this leg. An even distribution of weight in that foot. Knee down. Shoulders level with the hips. Scoop that coccyx under so we're not lifting everything up. Okay, use your core, draw your belly button in, lift that pelvic floor to help with your balance. And let's just take that arm down the back. So your forearm is absolutely level with that spine. Couple more breaths here. Little wobble there. Have to keep going with your core strength, release, and then just pop your fairy fingers on that elbow if you want a little extra stretch there, just to lengthen this nice and stretched. Avoid letting those ribs float back up, and then release. So nice and stretched, we're going to sit down and get on with our legs. So find your chair. So as we've been doing in class, to stop you all having to twiddle around, we'll have the band on the corner of the chair there so that you don't have to keep swapping. Ready? So we're just going to warm up a little bit. So we're doing some extension or heel slides. We're extending that leg. That's it. Remember, we're just trying to gear up the body here, shoulders level with those hips. The knees are directly over the ankles, especially if this supporting foot. Let's just swap over there. So slide the heel. That's it. Just trying to concentrate on keeping everything straight so you're not lopping to one side. You really have to secure your core to keep yourself nice and strong. Okay. We're going to breathe in, and as we exhale, as if it's your pelvic floor lifting that foot there. This one, it's stabilising, but don't let it support you. Use your core as much as possible to support you. You're going to rotate your hip inside your pelvis there, your ball and socket joint there inside the pelvis. Rotating this foot, the knee stays actually still in line with or at the same level as your hip, and then extend. So remember, this is for your VMO, that little teardrop muscle there, helps stabilize your patella. And you'll be able to feel this in your hips because all these quadriceps are attached to your hip and your kneecap there. So we're stabilizing the knees, strengthening the pelvis. Brilliant exercise. Just release that. Breath in, exhale, little lift, rotate and push. Really flex the foot. Lead with the heel. Good. And then we're going to come back to these before we put a band on. If you choose to do that, you might not want to do that at all, as we do some triceps work. Okay, so remember what we're going to do is I'll just show you from the back. You're sitting nicely. You're going to stabilize this hand and pull up a band from the top. So choose your band, you get the traction you wish, and this is what we're going to be doing. So avoid resting the fist in your back. Let's have it just a little bit away and drawing up there, squeezing. We don't want to lose traction there. We want to keep that band super lengthened, not falling to the side. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. So with my right hand at the top, I'm going to work the left leg, lifting that up with the exhale, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're just going to crop that out and do 5 of these oblique ones, 3, 2, and 1. We'll swap over just to get a bit warm, really. You can do it without the band for a couple, 2 or 3, imagining it's there, and then with the band. Okay, and then we'll do 5 extensions of this foot, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then we'll rotate to the side. You don't have to have that leg very high, it's just getting it into that oblique setting. 3, 2, and 1. You're nice and warmed up now. So we're going to attach the band as an option. So just as you had in class, choose your strength or slacken the band if you're making your own hoop with one of these, which I hope you've still got from, dare I say it, COVID days when I sent bands out. So we're just going to do, you're going to decide, I'm going to do 20 of these, okay, but you decide how many is going to be good for you, and we'll add the band on as an option. So maybe you might want to do 10 arms, 10 legs, you might want to do 20 of everything. So we're just setting that leg into straight extension, and it's good to count in 5s. I don't seem to be able to manage any greater number of that, and we're halfway through, so 10 more of these. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, avoid momentum, and then we're going to swap over. So again, same number. Have to get that band nice and tight on there. Remember, build up to, you know, the tightness or the strength of the band on the leg. So we're going for another 20 of these. Good. So I'm halfway through my set of 20. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's swap over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ditch the band for a minute, and we're just going to do 20 of the oblique ones. So breath in to prepare, exhale, lift, rotate, and extend. We've done this plenty of time in class without a band. You don't need a band. You'll still be working that muscle. Okay. But the band just adds on that obviously greater resistance. And it's just, if you can build up to it, much more, it's going to really get into those tissues and challenge your muscles, challenge your tendons, ligaments. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and change over. So that's quite, I feel that really in my hip. Let's do this side. Breath in, exhale, lift, rotate, and extend. It really is those resistance, those really extenuating exercises that really get those biological changes in your body that helps keep you really useful. From that lecture I did the other day, we're halfway through here, just over. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Choose your choose your resistance. You might not want to do the band again. You might want to ditch here. So we're going to repeat all of that again. So I'm going for my band here. So left leg, right arm at the top, straight up here. We're trying not to force down that foot. I'm trying to resist the band going back. These are easier. That's why I'm going for the band here, halfway. Brilliant. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's swap. We want it to be as slick as possible so we can get on with the task in hand rather than faffing around. Good. 3 more sets of 5, 4, 3, 2. Go at your own pace. Okay, I don't want you having to worry about keeping up. Keep up with yourself and your own pace. Okay, last 5. Don't drive through that foot. Last 2 and 1. So, before we go on to the oblique, get your breath, have a couple of pelvic tilts, maybe tip up your hip from side to side. Well done. So I'm ditching the armband here and we're going for the oblique. Breath in, exhale, lift and rotate, extend. Good. Get into it. You might want to do 5 with a band, 5 off, or 10, whatever you like. Whatever's going to challenge you and keep you interested. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself either and do too much too quick. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other way. Breathing in. Good. Okay. In, exhale, lift, rotate. Good. Keep that flow, avoid resistance, keep it slow. Good. Brilliant, halfway. Think if my counting's correct. Last 5. Hard work, folks. Here we get a stretch. Okay, so I'm going to stretch out the hamstrings by just lengthening out your left leg. Notice the foot is really flexed. You'll probably feel the stretch already here. You can adjust your chair at this point because we don't need the band for a sec. So I always say this is good if we have bad backs because we do this kind of shape lying on the floor a lot. We don't actually ever do it stood up, although there is a space for that with stretches in general, but not in Pilates, because we're always really mindful of the back. So that's what I was doing, showing you how the back stays nice and straight. Breath in, so just like with a squat, your back stays straight, can you see? So even the head doesn't come up or down. This supporting foot here is directly underneath that knee that we're going to take advantage of leaning on here. Now this might be quite enough for you. You might want to just reach that toe, breath in and breathe. It's always nice to have a few candles going if you're at home. Try and keep your hips level here, so avoid twisting round. Just good rule of thumb there. My timer's gone off, so I'm just going to have to go and find that for the next one. Breath in, secure. Oh, can you see that rounded back there? Let's just address that. Stick up the tailbone if you feel like you're suddenly rounding the back. And you won't go into extension, a concave curve in your back, sticking your bum up, but it just helps get it readdressed. Breath in, exhale, lift and lean. So you might want to just lean a bit further. You might want to reach for the toe. That's a great way to start. And if you're there, you might want to touch the toe. And just keep breathing nice and strong there into that stretch. With your breath, carry on. I'm just going to get my clock because it's turned off. Good job. So from here, we're going to secure the core, come up and just do our piriformis stretch. So when you're ready to exhale, as if you're lifting your right leg using the lift in your pelvic floor, just pop this on here. Remember, this is not good if you've got hip replacement. If that's you, then literally just here is enough. Okay. So there's loads of options we can do here. This might be enough already. Just pressing down on that knee just releases this glute a little bit more. Drawing the heel towards your hip gets it a little bit more as well, or you might want to fold down. Again, avoiding hunching over, just lower with that mindful straight back, as straight as backs get. You know, I'm always saying backs aren't straight. And then release, breath in, exhale, lift. So here if we're hip replacement, here if we can go a little bit deeper, notice you'll get a little bit more stretch press in here, or if we draw this up. Breathe, exhale. If you want more, press forwards. Okay? So I like to show you, we usually do this on the floor, but as I've said in class, if you've got issues, if you've got sciatica, this is a brilliant way to relieve it. But rather than get on the floor, you can literally do it while you're there at work on your desk or whatever you get up to, sat down in your day. Don't have to be necessarily getting down on the floor. And obviously with sciatica, this will relieve it momentarily, but we have to strengthen those glutes to lift the muscles, will lift anything around that nerve that's being irritated by being touched by your tissues or general inflammation. So getting your glutes strong is really important, which takes me to the next bit of the session. As you know, we're going to be standing up here and we're going to be going into hip extensions. You will need a band, but well, you won't necessarily option to have your band. So you can have your chair there. It just helps us stay upright. So this is the action. We're taking the leg back. So all of those other exercises we've been crunched up in the hip. And the hip flexors are all folded in. So we're giving an opportunity now for the hip to lengthen out. Here it's nice and lengthened, but we don't tip because you're just creasing at the waist there. whereas I want a definite angle there, or less of an angle, length there. Okay, so keeping your shoulders, hovering the hips to avoid that tilt, squeeze that left glute and the leg goes back. Keep your foot crooked. Brilliant. Okay, so from the front, like this, can't see if that's there, so avoiding this. And then the other side. We're just warming up for now, just getting the form correct with that other leg. Think about even distribution through that supporting foot. And then actually, we did this in class, which is a lovely stretch for the hip flexor. Just trying to remain upright as you literally just wave your leg forward and back. So rare moment, you can use momentum. So you're kind of getting your hamstrings stretched if you get quite high. You've done that already, so not too necessary, but you also lengthening that. You can add a bend there just to get a bit of momentum up. And then the other side, breath in and out, just wave that leg all about. So you're lengthening this front part of your leg, you're warming up those glutes, and then we can come into a little flexion at the top. Just be careful of your back. I don't want you jarring your back as your leg goes out. This is going to get quite small. So just feel a soft, steady hold in your lower back. Okay, so now we're ready to get deep into those tissues. Option to use a band. I'm going to try for 40 on each side at least. So take it back. First leg. Avoid the band or your looped, lengthened band on your ankles or your knee joints. You want it on a fleshy part. So I'm going for another 15 here. 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more sets of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep going. We'll swap sides in a sec. Good. Here we go. Let's swap. So we nice and bolt upright. Breath in. Exhale. Squeeze. Squeeze. Squeeze like your bum's a sponge. You have to maintain a little wide gait in your legs. Good. Brilliant. 5, 4, 3. It's so tempting to move yourself forward, but try and stay upright. Well done. It's like that woodpecker, isn't it? Woody woodpecker. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swap over, breath in. We can just do a little bit of a circle here because it gets quite tight. You can do exactly where you're isolating that muscle. Breath in, exhale. Good. Really rare for us to be upright so long on the floor rather than being on the floor. But again, this just shows you that you can do these exercises without having to get down on your mat. These exercises are good for knees, hips. So if these are good for you, so we're going to change sides, then just know that you can do them practically whilst you just stood up waiting for the kettle to boil. It doesn't have to be a full hour process. If you've got just an issue here in the hips or the knees, then this can be done. you know, in 10 minutes in your day. We've just got 9. And last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to just do a nice little roll around here. Good. Just soften the contracted muscles there before we do our last set. So 20 more on each side. You will have done 60 by then, and that's no, you know, that's a mean feat. You might want to rest already, you may have had enough, you don't want to do too much too quickly. But if you're up to it, we have been building up to this, so hopefully there's another little set inside of you raring to go. Breath in, exhale, take it back. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got 3 more sets of those. Swap over if you need to and come back to this side. Halfway for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Brilliant, swap over. You can almost feel the strength straight away, giving you more power to do more sets. Last one, last leg, 20 to go. Breath in, that's a guide. You know how many is good for you. Good. Squeeze that glute, okay? Don't use momentum, squeeze the glute. Well done. 3, 2, 1, halfway, if you're with me. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Okay, it's time to get down. Here we go. So we were talking about quad setting in class. Trying to make that so it's out of the way for you. So quad setting is where the feet are flexed and we've got that space. We observe that space there. You're never going to squash away that space, but that's kind of the destination. So here we are, and we're just going to keep hold of that for about 10 seconds, that pushing down of the back of your knee towards the floor. And then we're just getting used to the shape and feel so we can maintain that while we work our arms a little bit more. Now remember, those are stabilizing muscles you're using to get that power. And if you have knee issues, misaligned patella, then we recommend 10 of those squeezes, holding for 10 seconds of the squeeze, relax, repeat 10 times. But that's just an idea if that's you. We use that quad setting for these next exercises. So your wrist is going to be underneath your shoulder. We're just warming up those quads, and actually this might be enough for you today. Just bending your elbows behind because your wrists are underneath the shoulders. We've got good form. Let's do 5, quad set, 4, good, 3, brilliant, 2, and 1, fabulous. So the next thing we're going to do is thrust the hips up. So these are short and sharp, so you should manage this okay. Breath in, lift, and exhale, lower. So try and use your quad setting. Your toes are going to be pointed here because I've tried it not doing and it's much harder, but you can do that if you wish. 8, 7, the 6, let's just bend the elbows just a tiny little bit to get the muscles activated. 3, 2, and 1. So let's try that because In Pilates, there is a space for having locked out elbows in some gymnastic poses, but we don't recommend it in Pilates because it can aggravate tennis elbow if you have that. But if you've got great elbows, then I'm not averse to you locking out your elbows to get yourself up so you can teach your body the shape of a reverse plank, which is what this is, without having to, well, not without having to use the strength. If you just don't have the strength yet, then it's going to help you get up there until you do, okay? Because I trust you will. So lock out the elbows if that's really difficult for you to hold your whole body weight up. We try and have hips level. And then once you're here, bend your elbows a little bit, get those muscles working, and then see what you have to use. We'll just repeat that reverse plank, lift and lower, another 8 times, or however many you can manage. Okay, have a rest and just bang out 1 or 2. Okay, 4, experiment. Do we have to lock out the elbows? Can we do it without? It's going to be better for your muscles if you've got that micro bend. Good. Okay, so now we're nice and definitely warm. We're going to cross those legs and then cross your arms and lift up your arms above your head there. Good. Swap over. So what we'll do is, I'm going to give you a little different option. I'm just trying to reverse the crossing of the arms, which is difficult. And again, you might want to tuck out your rib cage, you know, just to give yourself a nice stretch. Lower the ribs, lower the arms. So now we're going to use that reverse plank to really work the arms. So we've come up here to do some hip thrusts, but now we're going to come up into your hip thrust, get into that reverse plank and have a go at bending. So not just micro bending the elbows, keeping really super high and coming up and down, keeping the hips high while you bend your elbows to lower yourself down. And I don't mind, you might just manage one of these, the super hard. 3, 2, and 1. Now what we can do to make that slightly easier, and sometimes it's nicer to, like I say, use the harder progression to work out where you're up to, and then know there's some really valid modified versions as well. So we can do this option here, crossing the legs and rolling your knees forward. So you're getting a lovely hip flexor stretch there. And then keeping your hips high in this position, lowering the elbows to and fro. Just double check your wrists are right directly underneath your shoulders. And that's a nice option as well. So have a play with that one. And then also like a crab, remember we all used to do the crab. I think we talked about this in session. Lifting your bottom up with your feet directly underneath your knees there, coming into this. So it doesn't matter if your bum's sagging a little bit low. The idea is that you're getting more of the weight, because your weight's not in your bottom, it's distributed across your muscles here. It's definitely harder than having your bum on the floor. And then have a go at walking your feet out, keeping your bottom as high as possible, getting that reverse plank in there. A little bit more, until we finally get into this reverse plank position. I'm just adjusting my feet so my shoulders are above my wrists, and just try 3 to 5 here. 3, 2, and 1. And that really is super hard, but that's what we've been working up to, isn't it? You can just take the elbow across your body. Avoid touching the elbow there for that. Stretch there, release, breathe, other side. So we'll repeat that. It's just great to have little short breaks in between sets, because if you do too many too quick, it can do more bad than good. But giving your body a bit of a rest, giving your mind space to get the memory of the, muscle memory, if you like, before you then have another go. So you'll be a bit more confident now. We're hip thrusting, use whichever option you like. So I'm going to go for this one here. And lower the elbows and lift. So aim for 5, but you might do 3, and you might just get 1 done. Okay, if you're feeling a bit stronger, maybe go for the full extension. Last 2. Brilliant. Now I'm going to give you the final progress, actually. I'll show you the modified version first. So we are bending your right leg and then lifting up the other. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Bring that back up, and then the other leg. 5. Well, we did 2 sets of 5, didn't we? Brilliant. Last 5, 4, 3. Oh, brilliant. Getting there now. So we can go back into your full reverse plank, whichever option you're feeling you want to do, and then see if we can lift one leg up and down. There. Maybe point the leg to lift, flex it to come down. Remember, try not to overlock those arms, and then maybe pull back, do a slightly easier one. Last 3, 2, 1, because sometimes you've got that power at first to get the harder one bashed out. You might want to keep to the modified version the whole way. Okay, this is your session. Good. Well done. And then reduce, modify. If we're feeling like we're coming out of our strength, we're starting to lose it a little bit, maybe be kind and just draw back. Brilliant. Last one here. Well done. We're going to just stretch it out a little bit there. Reach yourself forward. So what I'd like to do here is walk yourself up. We're going to come into the bridge position. So roll yourself down nice and safely. We're just finding our C curve. If you've got the strength or the power today to do it with your legs straight, then have a go at that. But we can have legs bent, hold on, or keep your hands away from your body. So for the bridge, you won't need a cushion underneath your head. We'll do a little bit of a quick stretch in the hammies. So using this short lever stretch, just that. So here we go. Pushing out. So you're grabbing your hamstring, your knees quite towards you, just reaching that there. Well done. And then swap over. You've got loads of stretch in your hammies in this session, so I'm not too concerned about you getting cramped while we hop it over into the bridge there. So I'm wiggling down, so we're at the bottom of the mat a little bit, so the arms have got room to come up and over behind us. The ankles, as ever, are directly underneath those knees. We're observing that nice neutral shape in your pelvis there. which involves that gentle curve, not too much of a rise in the rib, just a little curve. Hips are level with that pubic bone there, that's totally flat. And as if we are crushing or voiding that space, we're scooping the coccyx under. Your bottom might get a little bit firmer as we start to lift the sacrum off the mat. Remember, the sacrum's got about 3, I think, plates in it that we don't want to fuse together as we get older, which they will do if you don't do things like this. So real give mindfulness to that bottom plate, the back of your pelvis, and then slowly see if we can raise each vertebrae off the mat. Use that lovely bicycle chain link image to segment the spine off the floor. When you've got to your shoulders, breathe in, arms up and over there. Beautiful. Okay, leave the hands here. Just find the shape that is you, just imprinting earth here. Breathe, and then slowly, I'm just getting myself completely up. So remember, your neck is a continuation of your spine, but you're not going to get that into the mat. It kind of stops at between your shoulder blades at the top, between your shoulders at the very top of your shoulder blades. And then slowly ease your back down. Now, if you've got back issues and this causes a little bit of sensitiveness around that area, just be kind, just, you know, don't expect too much. Go lightly over that area. Use your pelvis to maybe tilt it off that vertebrae, but otherwise use your vertebrae to tilt or press the vertebrae deep into the mat. You get spine imprint, you use your pelvic tilt to press that lower back into the mat. Get your plates of your sacrum on the floor. Now just relax, and you kind of just rock back into neutral there. Let's try a bit of spine extension. Lift those ribs. Relax again, and then slowly bring the arms, kind of wheel them back towards your thighs. I'm keeping the pelvis really still here. That's the idea. And then keeping the pelvis still, nod your chin to chest. I really enjoy the feeling of the scapula just touching the mat there, but I've not sunk the lower back lower. I've not spine imprinted. I've kept that lengthened. And then relax. Maybe do a couple of pelvic tilts at the end there, just to massage that lower back into the mat, getting that sacrum really nice and supple. Okay, so you might want the cushion actually. Have that there for a sec. So remember, the 100 is this action 100 times, breathing sharply in through your nose for 5 beats of that. And then 5 out through your mouth, the same. We can be nice and neutral. This is the easiest option, the very modified option. Keeping your pelvis still, chin to chest is the next. And then we can even keep neutral in the pelvis as we do so many with one leg. Maybe you want to do 50 with one leg up, 50 with the other one up. And you know, you can do that option with your head on the floor as well. Obviously, chin to chest is harder. So this is the crucial bit. If you decide to do tabletop with both legs in the air, you tuck your spine into the mat. And you might want to straighten the legs up tall is easier. The lower you go is definitely harder. Rule of thumb, really important, is if your lower back is, if you're unable at this time to keep your lower back in the mat with the strength of your core, then you need to put one foot on the floor, okay? Because doing this, shaping your back with your legs in the air, is going to kill your back, okay? You have to have your lower back into the mat if both legs are on the floor, okay? So I think I'm going to do a little bit of a half like this. So because both legs are in the air, I need my lower back in the floor. But if you've got one leg on the floor, then you don't have to worry too much about the lower back being planted in the mat there. Now, if you've done half one leg off, it's time to change. And then bring those knees in towards you. You can roll from side to side here. So what will be nice to, we're almost finished. You might want to finish here actually with this stretch, but I promised the clam, so I'm going to give it you as well. But once we've had a little stretch, you can have both feet on the floor or option one leg in the air here. And you can be in neutral spine because you've got that supporting foot on the floor there. Arms must be out reach to the side, palms down on the floor, and just roll yourself to that side. With the legs straight there, just gives you a deeper stretch into the rim of your iliac crest there, the back of your pelvis. And just breathe here for a sec. Secure your core. That's with your exhale. Bring yourself back up there, swap over. Maybe do a couple of pelvic tilts before we go over to the other side. So again, you can have your lower back in the mat if you've got a sensitive back, but because you've got that float foot there, it's not massively necessary. You can take your foot to this side, take your eyes to the other there, and breathe here. And then on that exhale, secure this core and bring yourself up. So I'm choosing quite a strong band here. So this will take less than 5 minutes if you want to just do these glute knees. So hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. We're going for 10 here or 15. You can do 10 to 15. So I've done 10, why not bash on it another last 4, 3, 2, and 1. We can fit in a nice little open door here. Make sure you've got space behind you. Your hips remain stacked, but as you float your arm up and over your body, your shoulder, top shoulder falls away from the other one. Remember, just use your patience as that hand sinks down to the floor there. These are still stacked. We don't want this top hip falling backwards. And it does require breath to help this open up. We certainly don't force that arm down. And then maybe fit yourself another one in there. Well done. Breathe into this lovely opening you've made there in your chest. Kind of feel the stretch all the way to your fingertips sometimes. And then you can carry on here, or we can bang out another 10 to 15 of these. Just make sure you do the same on each side. Your ankles are together, your hips are together. Last 5, 4, 3, lovely. Well done. We're walking ourselves up to secure your core. You might want to just have a bit of a roll on there before we plant ourselves back down. So you've got the idea now, nicely stacked. You can use 2 cushions. You can use your arm if that's more comfortable. Line everything up, the shoulders and the hips remain stacked. Remember, flex your feet, push your heels down as if you're up against a wall there on your upper bum, lower back. We've got 2 more sets of 5 here. We're already halfway through that actually. Good. Last 5, 4. Belly button in, lift that pelvic floor. Good. This side feels much more better me. Really ready for this open door here. The hips should feel really super strong. Shoulders stacked initially, hips remain stacked. Just let that arm fall away from you. You can actually look at that arm behind. Take a moment of being patient with your body if your arm struggles to get down. And breathe either way. Feel the shoulder blades come together and apart as we move back. Well done. Push your hips forwards. It's like one nice little last burst. It's a very hip focused session. Okay, last, you do your open door if you wish, or we can just do one last set of these. Well, if we're doing 3 sets of 5, just got 2 more here. Push those heels down, open that, wind them open, squeeze. Good. Intensity for just 5, 4, we're on the last set, 3, 2, such well done. 1. Let's walk ourselves up there. Give that a nice little rub as you now go on to the bit that's just done all that work. We no longer need this band. Get rid of that. We're just going to meet ourselves coming back now, folks, as we do every session. I want you to congratulate yourself and feel really good about fitting in a session for you while I'm not there watching. So breath in, palm to palm, okay. You can close your eyes and seek out yourself here. Find the warmth that is you, the reassurance that is you. Just feel really great that you know you are here for you, your own best friend as we warrior our way through your week. And I trust that you will, with pleasant assuredness. Bring your thumbs in towards your chest there. Breathe in. Let's have one final chin to chest. Draw your ribs down, your scapula down. We're not full hunching over. We've got that lovely grace and strength. Namaste, folks. Thanks for once again, if you have today, joined me in your Pilates practice. Thank you. See you when I'm back.